Could be good, it could be bad.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Stephen
Stephen A. is yelling again.
So I wonder if he's like in person. You're like, hey, Stephen A. Hey, man, what's going on, man?
I can't even hear myself talk while he's yelling.
What's your best thing?
Yeah.
We're putting this on air. We're getting some advice from someone next to us. So either tail or fade. It's your decision. Over in Michigan, Colorado State, he says he likes Longwood spread. That was one that Nick liked a lot.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Did anyone else play with the Akron Zips mascot in the NCAA football?
Oh, I did. That was the best. You could play with the full mascot team.
Yeah.
The kangaroo or whatever.
I have a picture of a turkey up where your camera is supposed to go.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
No, it looks much better now.
That turkey's gonna get slaughtered today.
Yeah.
Ham or turkey? Is that even an argument?
Told you we always been ready. I don't need people that's petty, that weigh on me heavy while I'm being steady. I need a record with Felly. We get it bouncing like Betty's. I feel like I'm Nelly. Don't bring the beef like a deli. It's leave on a levy. No sleeping on me like I'm Freddy. Chris Breeze, how I do, hit him with the moves. Left hand step back, ballin' like I'm Coos. All faith, God's plan, you just gotta choose. God slaps, nothing left to prove. Y'all gotta leave me alone. Lately I've been in my zone. Told them no cap like I fitted, but lately the flows have been straight off the dome. I feel like I'm MVP. I'm in Patty Mahomes. If it ain't about money, don't hit on my phone, cause lately I've been in my zone.
Hello, welcome to the Cowboy Show, hosted by Ben Carey and Nick Gronnerad, combining expert human opinions with cutting-edge simulation models to help you arrive at the best picks each week. Inside Edge Community. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, everybody? How we doing? It is Playoff Sunday, baby. Playoff Sunday. I'm excited. We got two really good matchups. You know what's crazy is the spreads in these games basically pretty even, right? We got Chiefs -2, Bengals +2. We got the Eagles. It's up to 2.5 now, +2.5. But man, pretty even games. I mean, the parity this year in the NFL, definitely higher than it's been years prior, and I think we're gonna see some good matchups. So, as you can see, it's just me today. Nick is feeling under the weather, so he will not be here to join us. But we will do our best. We're really gonna need chat to step it up today. Chat, I'm gonna need you. No excuses today, chat. I know all you guys already went to church. Your mind's in a good spot, and we're ready to attack the slate. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to break down each game and dive into the prop market. Since it's just me, I'm going to do something similar to how I've been doing the college basketball streams to some extent, just with the layout. And we're going to be using unabated as kind of our compass, so to speak. We're going to use the odd screens. We're going to look at the prop numbers too, and we can also reference BetStamp too as well. So Mitchell has just been ruled out. Very interesting news, and that's actually a sneaky big loss for the 49ers. I really do think so. So let's just dive on into it. 49ers and Eagles, NFC Championship. It's the first game, and you know the thing with both these teams, they've definitely had different paths to get here, right? I mean, the Eagles, their whole thing this year was excuse me, got a frog in my throat. Their whole thing this year was starting hot, and then they had to deal with the outside noise saying, are they good enough? Are they going to slip up? And the 49ers had a whole completely different path to get here, right? With all the injuries and then the Brock Purdy emergence. And here we are. So first and foremost, guys, the spread 2.5. I guess I should look at the combined view so we can get some total action here. 45 is what I'm showing for a total, 45.5. So I want to ask you guys, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Total a little low in my opinion, but I also do understand that the 49ers defense has been playing pretty good football. It's a home game, of course, for the Eagles. I mean, you want to talk about home field advantage. It is going to be an insane atmosphere. Now, I'm not saying Brock Purdy can't play in these conditions, but I think at the link, it's going to be a little different, right? It's going to be a little different. I think the crowd is going to be ramped the F up. I think the crowd, like, no disrespect to the other game in the Chiefs, but I think the Eagles crowd is going to be way more hyped up than the Chiefs. I was looking at ticket prices. I saw a tweet about it. I think the lowest price, or maybe it was the average price, is like $1,000 to $900 in Philly. The Chiefs, it's like $200, and I think it's the weather too. There's some cold weather. We'll talk more about that game in a second, but it is kind of interesting, right? Like the Eagles haven't been in this position for a while. They're going to be ready to freaking go, but the 49ers are too. The 49ers, they got some vets. They're going to be ready to roll. I'm going to lean with the Eagles here. I got the Eagles money line earlier in the week. I think Eagles pull this out. Maybe a little square, but that's where my head's at with this one. What do we see? Chat, taking a look at what you have to say. Over 45 is a good number. Yeah, I kind of lean over. The only thing that does scare me is that Purdy does struggle a little bit, and the Eagles defense does step up, but I'm definitely leaning over at 45. Leaning at over the 45. What do you guys think for the winner here, or the spread? Do you like Eagles or do you like 49ers? Because I think it's pretty split, but it seems like maybe some of the sharper people I've talked to are on the 49ers. I will admit. But in my opinion, it's hard to find an edge in a game like this. Not to say you can't, but it definitely is harder to do so. No doubt about that. So let's hop on into the prop market, guys. We'll start with quarterbacks. We will start with the quarterbacks. So let me see if I can get this up, and that is receiving yards. We'll start with passing yards. Taking a look at Hurts and Brock Purdy, of course. Guys, in the chat, let me know your favorite passing props in this game. Let me know what you like for passing props. Jalen Hurts, his passing prop is set at 250, it looks like. Let me just double check, because there's no way. Oh, Bet Rivers has a weird line, but it's heavily juiced to the over. That's really weird. But 250 is kind of looking like the number here. That seems like a lot of yards, but I think he can get there. It definitely depends game flow. If game flow puts the Eagles up and they do park the bus a little bit, I'm a little worried about that. But at the same time, I don't think the Eagles are going to pull away with this one. And this is coming from someone who does like the Eagles. I think it's going to be a game that is going to be closer throughout. But 250, 250 and a half, up to 251 and a half. I'm just curious, like, how this has moved. Yeah, it's gone up. It was down to like 239. That's crazy. I still lean over a little bit. What do you guys think? It's 247 on FanDuel. Nice. Good look. I'm going to pull up BetStamp on my phone here. And let's take a look. Jalen Hurts. See if there's even a better number. This is another occasion where I've seen FanDuel paint one of the best numbers in the market, which is kind of interesting. So Bet Rivers and Sugar House and Unibet, I think they're all under the same umbrella with this originator called Cambia. It's actually over 199.5, but it's minus 480. So it's either something where unabated, which we're using right now, maybe it's pulling in not the official line, maybe it's pulling in an alt line, but yeah, something weird is going on there. I like the over for Hurts and over completions for Hurts and Hurts. Hurts. Say that 5 times in a row. Okay, so Brock Purdy. Let's talk about Brock Purdy. The funny thing is these two quarterbacks actually faced off in college. I made a little video about that. Do you guys remember that game? Iowa State, Oklahoma. It was electric. It was a really good game. I actually watched a lot of the highlights in that game, and Brock Purdy had some highlights, boys. I'm talking put me in the league highlights. I'm talking draft me in the second round, first round highlights. Maybe they didn't watch those over and over because he was the last pick in the NFL draft, Mr. Irrelevant. There's got to be a stat, too, that Mr. Irrelevant has never maybe even won a playoff game, right? As a quarterback? There's got to be some crazy stats on that. 220, though. 220. He's going up against a good secondary. And we know that secondary has dogs. Darius Slay. It's Gardner Johnson. They got Bradbury. They got some dogs. They got some effing dogs. And do we get a raid? Do we get rated? Rated and rated. Probably the owner's box, boys. How we doing, boys? How we doing? I'm rolling solo dolo today because Nick is sick, but I appreciate you boys. I want to know. I want to know what the play of the day is. What is the owner's box play of the day? Do we have one official play of the day? That's what I want to know. Right now, we're just talking about the first game. We're getting to the second game, the owner's box POD. That's it. All those parlays you cook up, I'm gonna need you to optimize all those picks and spit out that one. The over in the 49ers Eagles game. The over in the 49ers Eagles game. My dogs are going crazy upstairs. Gotta love it. First half over. No, my dogs think they're so tough, and then one of my dogs, he barks at everything, and he's a protector. But then if I get a plastic bag out, he's scared of a plastic bag. I mean, that's not good. Like, what if an intruder comes in our house? Then what? We're fucked. We're gonna die. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Whiskey. So the over first half, very interesting. What was the biggest reasoning behind that? I don't hate it, but I'm also like, very interesting. Seems a little cheeky, which is good. But yeah, anyways, let's talk about Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, 220 again, going up against a good secondary. But if the game flow and the game script has the 49ers playing from behind, I think we're going to see a lot of passes and a lot of attempts. So it definitely can get over. Eagles average the third most pass attempts. Let me show this on screen. Eagles average the third most pass attempts in the first half. Like it. I like it. Eagles rank 31st defensively in EPA rush. I like it. CMC, he might have to be a workhorse today because it sounds like Mitchell is out of the game. Elijah Mitchell is not going to be playing today, which is pretty big news because I know he hasn't been seeing the field a lot, but he does have playoff experience and he's a trustworthy guy. He's a guy who can come in and get 5-10 touches if need be. So let's hop on over. Speaking of Elijah Mitchell, let's talk about the rushing props. And let's go to rushing yards. So Christian McCaffrey, I bet this number has been flying up a little bit. A little bit. It depends when the news came out about Elijah Mitchell. But yeah, no Mitchell, which is big news. And CMC sitting at 62.5. 62.5 is what I'm seeing. I'm going to take a look too. Yeah, and of course, we'll talk about Jordan Mason in a second. I want to take a look at BetStamp to see some of the other numbers in the market. It was only 30 minutes ago, Nick. Wow. I'm actually surprised that this hasn't really done a lot. Like, it's actually going down. Why is it moved from it went from 58 to 60 to 74? It jumped up to 74 for 4 minutes and then it went down to 66.5. This is just BetMGM, but a lot of weird stuff going on there. It's 56.5 on Prize Picks. That probably seems like a pretty good number. I'm showing FanDuel with the 59.5, 60, 63. Caesars has a 62. Yeah, so it's around 60, 61, 62 ish. The only thing that always scares me with his rushing yards is, does he get used out of the backfield more as a receiver and then cuts into his production with his rushing yards? That's always a concern, I guess, with the receiving back. You could look at receiving and rushing yards if you're expecting him just to have a big game. I think that would probably be the best look. But, there's a few ways to attack it. Jalen Hurts, 46.5. That's a lot of fucking yards. If you guys didn't know, on Unabated, we have our projections up here too, and 41.5 is what we have him at. So that's a little under 46.5. That's a high number, but if we were to use Nick's playoff quarterback theory, maybe he does fly over. Maybe Hurts takes control with his feet. Brock Purdy, 8.5, 9.5, and Miles Sanders, 50. Okay. And then Debo's really interesting. Debo's at 29.5. We were getting that at 16, 12.5, like 2 weeks ago. Talk about buy low. Talk about buying low. But now we're buying pretty high. Although Mitchell is out. So does Mitchell kind of come in and get some of those touches? I'm not sure. And apparently these projections aren't accounting for Mitchell's absence. So that's why they may seem a little lower, because Debo at 13.5. I'm not sure how that would affect Debo's yards, but it probably one way or another wouldn't jump him over 29.5. So what do you guys like for rushing? What do you guys like for rushing yards? Or it can be attempts. I just have this on screen right now. It could be longest rush. I think Debo is a good look, but I'm also a little concerned that he's not going to get enough attempts. I mean, I would need to feel good about that. I need like 4 attempts out of Debo. I don't know. Like 4 is like if you could tell me that Debo has 4 rushes, I think he hits over this. But if he doesn't have 4, I'm going under. That's the way I look at this, because you'll have one that goes for like 10, 12. You know they're going to use him out of the backfield. Kind of like Sanders before the Mitchell news. Debo seems good now, though probably a few extra carries. Yeah. Really hard to say. Really hard to say. Brock Purdy, man, just sitting at 8.5. Sitting at 8.5. Free flyer. I see what you're saying, but we have to think of it more as a receiver, right? And the way they use him, I think it just has more of a big play ability to break one versus like a traditional running back. Yeah, and Ahold said it up here. He said Debo's scary. You can break a 30-yarder and you lose. So, and Nick has some stats too about the carries for Debo, excluding the 2 with Lance. Yeah, he's bound to break one of those explosive runs. So, all right, let's transition to the receiving market. A lot of good options here. A lot of stuff to talk about. Kittle, 44.5. We got AJ Brown sitting around 72. CMC, 33. Man, that's high. But he's going to get his touches. Miles Sanders, he's at 5. Debo, 48. That's a lot of yards too. Goddard, 46.5. Donovan Mitchell. Devontae Smith. I don't know why I'm thinking about Donovan Mitchell in my head right now. Devontae Smith, 66.5. And Jawan Jennings, our favorite third down receiver. I mean, if someone can find me the stats on the number of catches he's had on third down, it's got to be the percentage of catches and those being on third down. I'm going to say it's 75%. Absolutely insane. Maybe even higher. Maybe it's like 85%. Never seen anything like it in my life. I've watched a lot of football. At this point, you just have to expect he's getting the ball. Like he's the first read. But I guess when you have so many targets, it's just hard to stop. Brandon Ayuk, 47.5. I think Brandon Ayuk flew over last game. Kev Gainwell, sneaky, 8.5. Yeah, Kendrick Bourne. It's just insane with Jennings. Like I watch it and I'm like, guys, he's the guy on third down, man. Someone do something. Someone stop this, man. You know that meme where it's like he can't keep getting away with this. That's how I feel with Jawan Jennings on third downs. Okay, let's take a look at receptions though. Someone said Devontae Smith over 5.5 at plus Chicky. Interesting. I don't hate it. Quez Watkins sitting at over 1.5 at minus 125. That's kind of sneaky. Do we not like Quez Watkins today? I always like these third option wide receivers. I think you can find some better value with guys like that than some of the main guys, especially in the playoffs. I mean, Kittle, Brown, especially if you like the bet overs. AJ Brown. Who's sick enough to play an under 4.5 plus 125? Because the value I don't think is on over 4.5 at minus 160. Even though the model likes 5, I mean, that's juiced. That's juiced. Over 1.5 plus 110 on DraftKings for walk-ins. I kind of like that. I could see that hitting. Quez Watkins. See, Jawan Jennings, man, he's at 2.5 now, plus money. The days of him being at 1.5 are long gone. That's for sure. Very curious what Brandon Ayuk does today. I mean, the over 3.5 actually doesn't look terrible. Model has him 4.5 receptions. Let me take a look too at some other numbers in the market. Get a 1.5 or sorry, 3.5 at minus 105 on DraftKings. That doesn't seem terrible. Interesting. Okay. Let's see here. So I guess we could talk about touchdown scores. Who do you like in this game to score a touchdown? This game, I didn't really have anything I loved, but kind of keeping it square, I think Debo is not a bad look, right? Let's see what Debo's at to score a touchdown anytime. Plus 180, plus 185. I wish that was closer to like plus 250. Trying to think of a sneaky guy to score a touchdown that we haven't been talking about. What about my boy Kenneth Gainwell, who I've been high on since freaking Memphis came out of college. Kenneth Gainwell to score a touchdown is plus 500. I like that. Kenneth Gainwell, anytime touchdown score plus 500. That seems cheeky. That tickles my fancy. Kyle Juszczyk, Boston Scott. I mean, if they were playing the Giants, I'd love that. That's absolutely insane how many times he scored a touchdown against the Giants. Kyle Juszczyk. That's cheeky. That's sneaky. See if I can even find a better number there. I'm showing plus 1,200 as the best, but maybe you got it somewhere else at plus 1,400. I mean, this just goes to show why line shopping is so important. Kyle Juszczyk, plus 550 to score a touchdown on Bet360. And then DraftKings, I trust you. Pick 6. DraftKings has plus 1,400. I mean, we're almost talking about 3x the value between two books. So Kyle Juszczyk, not a bad look. That's not a bad look. I mean, you put pizza money on that. Put $10 down on that. It hits. That's $140. That's how math works. You can feed. You can get pizza for yourself and your neighbors, and the neighbors' neighbors, and the neighbors' neighbors' neighbors. After that, pizza's probably gone. But that's not a bad look. I'm gonna go with Kenneth Gainwell. I think he scores a touchdown. Shout out Memphis. Well, I'm saying the next door neighbor's neighbors. The neighbor's neighbor's next door's neighbor. Okay. Let's transition. Let's talk about the Chiefs and the Bengals. The Bengals. Burrowhead, is that what they're calling this place now? That's what I'm seeing on my Twitter timeline. I guess we should talk about the game first before we hop on into the props. So this line has done it all, man. I mean, this line was -2, I think, for Cincinnati. Right Angle Sports hit it, came back around. Now it's -2 for the Chiefs. I think partly was seeing Mahomes not in like a walking boot, being able to walk around. And I think it alleviated a little bit of question, like how bad he would be and how hurt he would be. But it's Patrick Mahomes. He's a fucking alien. We all know this. This is a really tough line for me because I was leaning Bengals, and I think we've gotten to this point where we just assume Mahomes is Superman. Maybe he is, but I'm a little concerned. I'm concerned. Even if I had the Chiefs +2, I'm concerned because if the ankle gets rolled up on, if he tweaks it, if it starts to get sore in the second half, like the -2 doesn't hold its value, right? Like, let's say hypothetically, Patrick Mahomes is 50%. Would you play the Chiefs -2? The answer should definitely be no. Like, I don't care if you're Patrick Mahomes or Superman. At 50%, again, that's like worst case, I guess, for him playing, but you have to think about that. Also, I think pick six, or yeah, Henny, I forget what the odds were on Henny to get a snap. I think it was like +600. JT Hurt says Chiefs -0.5 first half. I think there was a stat about these two teams playing in the first half. I can't remember if it's the Bengals get up and then they hold the lead, or if it was vice versa, where the Chiefs have dominated the first half of these matchups between these two teams, and then the Chiefs give up the lead and the Bengals take the lead. It was one of the two. So, yeah, we can talk about Mahomes for hours, right? But, I mean, it kind of comes down to what Nick is saying with the Bengals O-line. It is definitely key. They played really well with all the injuries. Can they keep that up? And does watching the film of that change anything? Like, are they able to identify as, hey, we want to do blitzes on this side or in this down, or the tendencies, this is what the pass pros are looking like on third downs, right? I think that's a really good point, because the thing with tendencies, you can talk about an offensive line, right? You can talk about the offensive line tendencies as a whole, but the tendencies of each individual player is something that, I mean, 99.9% of people don't take a look at. I'm a sicko and I do. A lot of times it's hard to convert to betting terms, but for the offensive line, it's, are they in a certain stance on passing plays? Are they giving up when they're trapping? Are they in a certain stance when they're going to go to the second level of defense and block the linebacker? Are they in a certain stance when it's a screenplay? These are tendencies that these NFL teams have, 10 people watching. They're watching the film over and over and over again. Pause, start, rewind, pause, start, next play. And some of those offensive linemen, maybe the Chiefs are able to identify tendencies. So, Nick, where the tendencies really got brought up, I mean, this is something that maybe film guys have been doing for years. But Bill Belichick was one of the guys who really made this mainstream, where he would find players and he would say, hey, his hands on his knee in passing plays, right? Like wide receivers. And they would start to pick up on stuff like that, and they had a huge edge in these games. It's gotten to the point where teams now are even showing tendencies one week, and then they purposely will do the same tendency, but they're going to do something different. It's this whole cat and mouse game. NFL is crazy. I wish we could like go behind the scenes of like what goes on with these coaches. Like the games are literally won during the week. It's insane. And I can't say that enough. Like if you don't prepare, it doesn't matter what happens on the field. It's pretty crazy. So anyways, enough talking about that. I'm going to go with the Bengals. I think we're going to see the Bengals come in to Arrowhead, and high ankle sprains are no joke. I think we're going to see Joe Burrow, I guess, shock the world. I mean, can we say that? I also know if the Bengals win this, I'm going to hear all the excuses in the world from the Chiefs side. Oh, Mahomes wasn't 100%. Da-da-da-da-da. I can already hear it coming. Yeah, pick six. Good point. Urban Meyer talked about that. Looked like a coach on punts, because if he was watching it, it was more likely to be a fake. Oh yeah. If he wasn't coaching on the sideline, yeah. There's insane tendencies, man. This is really crazy. This is how much of a sicko I am when I watch football on TV. Do this today. When they zoom in on the running back and his eyes kind of go like this, he goes, looking at it, you'll start to pick up just by seeing the running back's eyes and the way he looks, if it's a run or pass. And then when you see it, that's how I freak people out at watch parties. I say, hey, here comes the run. They think I'm like seeing something else. I'm literally watching the running back's eyes. It's crazy. Okay. Enough of that. I'm freaking you guys out. Let's move into the prop market. Passing yards. Patrick Mahomes, 285. 285. What do you guys think about that? No, I can't bet it because it already, it's not in real time, right? So, Pacheco's getting his yards. Interesting. We'll talk about that here in a second. You're saying under for Mahomes? No. Ace Soccer. You can bet it, but I'm just saying by the time I see that on camera or on the broadcast, it's too late. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so here's my thoughts on his passing yards. Mahomes. I think Mahomes is going to go. Well, I'm leaning. I'm not betting this. I think he goes over his number. And one of the reasons why is because I think the market has. I don't want to say they've inflated this number a little bit. I guess I should say deflated. But the game plan, I think, for the Chiefs is going to be a lot of short passes. I think we're going to see a lot of short passes out of the gun. I made a video on this, and I think with Mahomes and the offense, you're going to see a lot of quick and 3-step drops. He doesn't even have to drop, because 3-step drops was basically coined from under the gun, right? 1, 2, 3, pass. When you're already in shotgun, you don't even have to take those 3 steps. You can literally just catch the snap, turn. And I think we're going to see a lot of those. I don't think that the yards is the best way to attack this. I think it's going to be attempts. Actually, completions. Attempts and completions. And Patrick Mahomes is sitting at 25.5. I grabbed this at 24.5. It's moved. I still like over 25.5. I think we're going to see a lot of short passes to the wide receivers. I think Tony. I also think Gray and some of those guys. Kelsey, I think, is going to get a lot of targets in this one. And I think McKinnon. I think McKinnon could too as well. We'll talk about that here in a second. Burrow, 25.5 completions. We can go back to Burrow's yards. I don't really know what to expect out of Cincinnati. I wonder if they're going to try to just run down the throats of the middle of the defense with Mixon. Because if that's the case, they don't have to pass the ball, 35, 40 times. But I'm very not confident there. I don't know what the Bengals are going to try to do on defense or on offense against the defense. If anyone in chat has an idea, I would love to hear it because I know we have some Bengals fans. But yeah, I really don't know. I really don't know. The Burrow show, I know I understand it. I mean, it's easy to say that, but Burrow can still have a great game and go for 3 touchdowns, but he could also go for 3 touchdowns and have 260 yards, and this goes under, right? Burrow yards boosted everywhere. Interesting. Sure. Yeah, we know how that ends up. Okay. Let's talk about the wide receivers. There's a lot of them. In this game. T. Higgins, Hayden Hurst, Tony. We got Noah Gray. We got Kelsey. We got Chase. T. Higgins is at 57.5. Hurst 34.5. Man, Hurst's number is getting pretty high these days. I remember when it was only like 27.5. Tony 32.5. Tony's interesting. I think Tony could have a bigger game than some are expecting. Also, is Mecole Hardman in? Mecole Hardman? Is he playing? I thought I saw a report he was going to be active. Not that it changes too much, but it's interesting if he is playing. Kyle Juszczyk. That's so funny. I'm just I'm thinking now about the last game we were discussing, and if Kyle Juszczyk can get involved. If Chiefs are going to go short passing game, it makes me think less possessions for Burrow. Yeah, keep the clock ticking. Yeah, look at a guy like Jamar Chase, right? 84.5. That's a lot of yards, guys. See if I can find a better number for Chase, but that is a lot of yards. Receiving yards for Chase, some other books, 84, 85. Yeah, it seems pretty much across the board. I guess Barstool has 82.5, whatever they're trying to do there. I would stay away from that one. I'm not saying to play in under, but I'm staying away. Jerick McKinnon, very interesting. If we are buying into the short passing game narrative, 28.5 probably seems like a pretty good look, right? Receptions for McKinnon. $3.5. Yeah, that's right. I remember I looked at that 3.5. I think if you want to play McKinnon, you play 4.5. I think 3.5 at minus 155. No, I think you go all in and you play 4.5 for McKinnon. I really do believe that. Or Caesars, I guess, has a minus 143. It's a little better. But yeah, I don't want to play receptions at minus 155. It's getting too juice for me. You can find a 4.5 a plus 130 on points bet. Interesting. Anyone else you guys want to talk about? I guess Samaje Perine was another guy I've been seeing some noise about. 2.5 plus money, plus 105. Is he going to have a bigger role in this game? Maybe. Maybe not. And then Kelsey. See what Kelsey's yards are at. And we'll do rushing next. It's actually funny how we typically go quarterback, running back, receiver when in reality we should go quarterback, wide receiver, right? I blame Nick for that. Best prop for Eagles 49ers. What did I say my best prop was? I honestly didn't love anything in that one. What was my best prop? Help me out, guys. I think I said well, sounds crazy, but I kind of like the Kenneth Gainwell touchdown prop. As crazy as that sounds. I guess Debo under rushing yards, but that's so scary. What if they give him like 5-6 touches, right? Pick 6. I really don't have anything I love in that game. I really don't. Let's talk about rushing and who got bumped. Ace Soccer. Mahomes doesn't even have a rushing prop up, which makes sense, right? Joe Burrow, 17.5. That's a lot of yards for Joey B. It's a lot of yards for Joey B. Oh, Gainwell. Thoughts on Gainwell? It's risky. I like it. I don't love it. I'll put it that way. Joey B, though, 17.5 seems a little high. Can someone see what his rushing yards were last year in the playoffs against the Chiefs? That'd be kind of interesting. Isaiah Pacheco, very popular guy here, 47.5. I think naturally a lot of people want to play the over for Pacheco, but the Chiefs are weird, guys. The Chiefs are one of those teams where, like, you think they should be doing something offensively and they don't, and you get frustrated, but then you realize, like, whatever they do works. So then you're like, well, I can't get mad because they're scoring every time, right? Because there's been plenty of times this year where I saw Isaiah Pacheco and he looked really good, but they were either up or they almost used him as a decoy. Like, he would play really well, have a few good runs, score a touchdown. Next drive, it's almost like the defense is thinking the same way the public is, right? We're like, oh, feed him. And then McKinnon comes in and you think it's going to be a pass play, and all of a sudden McKinnon runs for 10 yards. And then all of a sudden Pacheco's in and they run a play action out of the shotgun. And then Kelsey gets like a 20-yard catch in zone, right? Really interesting offense that the Chiefs run, and that's why they're one of the best in the league with the brains of Eric Bieniemy and Andy Reid, right? Like, I don't know who you're going to put above them as like the best offensive attack, and that's That's honestly, personnel aside, I'll put him number 1 up there. Thoughts on Kelsey? News he may be out, may be out, but limited. I haven't dove too deep into that, but if we go back to the passing yards or the receiving yards, curious what the move has been with Kelsey. Really hasn't moved a lot. It's still kind of hanging around 76.5. So kind of interesting. Landon Smith, he says that, and great profile pic. Is that who is that guy? I'm not a soccer dude. I'm not a footy fan like some of y'all. Who is that? Anyways, 25 yards against Kansas City. Oh yeah. Ibrahimovic. Okay. I was gonna say that, and then if I was wrong, I didn't want to look like an idiot. But then maybe I just made myself look like an idiot by not knowing. So I set myself up there. I shouldn't even said anything about the profile picture. And I should have known that because one of the first jobs I had out of college, it was a startup, and we would play FIFA like every lunch break. And let me tell you, I was pretty good at FIFA. I wasn't like good enough to like win tournaments and stuff because there was a kid there, kicked my ass every time. But I would play with Ibrahimovic because I basically was like, he's like my 6'6" target, you know, in the red zone. I would just send the ball, have him run, and he would make plays. It was like my DK Metcalf out there. Okay. So Travis Kelce, yeah, kind of just sitting around where his number has been. Anything else with the rushing market? P-Ryan, does anyone think P-Ryan can go for 17.5? I think he can, but I'm not going to bet that just because it could be a Mixon day. I could see Mixon having a heavy dose. But what do you guys think there? McKinnon under, man, that's tempting too. 28.5, that just seems a little high. I mean, there were times when McKinnon's rush yards were at 12.5 during the season. Why are they so high? Did McKinnon have like 8 or 9 carries last game or something? Again, it just seems a little high. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Let's go to the touchdown market. The touchdown market. Blake Bell? Does anyone want any Blake Bell stock, guys? Blake Bell to score a touchdown plus 1,500 on FanDuel. Think if Kelsey gets hurt or is a little banged up, that Blake Bell could see some run? Plus 1,500, guys. I'm showing a plus 750 at a few books, too. Hayden Hurst. Saw some people on that earlier. Plus 320. Chat, let me know. Let me know your favorite touchdown prop in this game. You know, Patrick Mahomes, I bet the odds are going to be pretty good. Well, plus 650. Did the Chiefs run a sneak with Mahomes? Yeah, J3 ball, and I think that's what I was thinking about, is he did get a direct snap. before. So got here late, missed the Eagles 49ers talk. How are we feeling about a potential Tevin Coleman? Hold on one second. Tevin Coleman is at, yeah, but it's plus 600. I would play it if it was closer to plus 1,000, plus maybe plus 800. But hey, look at BetMGM moved on his rushing yards. I think that's going to be my favorite play is the under rushing yards for Mahomes, or for McKinnon, not Mahomes. Mahomes doesn't have a rushing yard. I think Jerick McKinnon is going to be my best prop there. Okay. So I have to actually run. But what we're going to do, let me just make sure that we're going to raid the Sports Gambling Podcast. They are live on Twitch, and I think they're newer to Twitch too. So we'll surprise them. But real quick, guys, I want to know before we hop off, what are your best plays for the day? Let me know in chat. Drop your best plays for the day before we end here. My best play, I think, is going to be the Jerick McKinnon under rushing yards. I think that's going to be my best play. See if I can do this raid. Sports Gambling Podcast. Okay, the raid has been created. We got Mixon, over attempts. We got Noah Gray. Okay, Chiefs first half. The owners, box boys, like the first half over in the Eagles and 49ers game. Debo under rush yards, receptions. Let's see. Not making a bet is the best play. I think you might be right. It's a tough game to find some value in. But anyways, say what up to the Sports Gambling Podcast, boys. If you haven't listened to their stuff, they're actually just really good stuff. They cover NFL. Their college stuff is very impressive. That's what I typically listen to them for. But I know they just started the Twitch page. They've been on YouTube. They have a really good presence. But let's show them some love over on Twitch. So appreciate you guys. Hop in the Discord, and we will continue the conversation throughout the day with these games. And best of luck with all your bets. See you guys later.
Number 200 written in front of me.
Oh, he corrected it down below. I see.
Oh,
well
okay.
done. We're both reading the same message twice. Both games go to overtime. Horrible bet. Please don't do that. I mean, we love the degen stuff, but
well, Ryan, and you know, again, we crawl and walk so that you guys can run. And what better example is Jay Will coming in with Noah Gray, 2 touchdowns, Bengals money line, reverse correlation. The algorithm loves you to reward you for that kind of stuff.
it's true.
It's right out of our buddy Sully's playbook.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. I'm seeing that our Twitch chat. Shout out to the Twitch chat. It's lighting up over here, Sean.
Jake comes in with another correction. Nope, he's wrong again. 20-1 must be high.
I can appreciate that, Jake. Sometimes you have to refine your final answer.
Brigham is keeping it simple. Eagles minus 13.5. Justin Wood coming in. Bengals super fan.
Oh no.
Sean Green over 17.5. Modelo's plus 1,000.
I like the inside Iggy that he knows. He sees it on the camera. Damn it. I was going to say he must be in the building if he knows Modelo.
I have a tremendous amount of Modelo's on ice. Although I'll be honest, I like the high noons. I've made fun of people who drank high noons
for
previously.
a long time. You want me to go to an ISO so you can officially apologize?
Yes. I'm sorry to everyone I made fun of for drinking high noons. I thought they were sissy pussy drinks, but after consuming some and realizing it's vodka with natural fruit flavors, I find them delicious. And it's great because they don't fill you up. What I'm getting at is I can have 12 and still not have an insane hangover on a football Sunday and catch a magnificent buzz. So shout out to you, High Noon. I apologize to anyone I made fun of for drinking high